There's a moment most people never notice. The exact moment they decide to do something big. They feel it, the electricity of a new goal, a new version of themselves taking shape in their mind. And, almost immediately, they tell someone, a friend, a caption, a story, anyone who will listen. And the moment they do, something dies. Not the goal, the engine behind it. Neuroscientists call it premature reward. The brain cannot reliably distinguish between the satisfaction of telling people you'll do something and the satisfaction of actually doing it. The announcement feels like progress. It isn't. Marcus Aurelius understood this 2,000 years before the science caught up. In 161 AD, a man became the most powerful human being on Earth. He didn't ask for it. For years, he had hoped it wouldn't happen. When the Emperor Antoninus Pius died and the Roman throne passed to Marcus Aurelius, he is said to have wept. Not from grief alone, from the weight of what he was about to carry. For the next 19 years, Marcus ruled an empire stretching from Scotland to Mesopotamia. He commanded armies. He navigated plagues, famines, and wars on multiple fronts simultaneously. He was surrounded at every moment by advisors who wanted pieces of his power, by senators who smiled in public and conspired in private. In all of this, the most visible, most scrutinized position in the ancient world, Marcus Aurelius chose silence. Not the silence of weakness, the silence of strategy. The silence of a man who had decided, long before he ever reached that throne, that the only arena that mattered was the one inside his own mind. He kept a private journal. It was never meant to be read by anyone else. No audience, no applause, no performance. We know it today as meditations. And within it he writes about something that almost no one in the ancient world, or the modern one, fully grasps. The relationship between what you reveal and what you can actually achieve. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Simple, almost too simple, but buried inside that instruction is one of the most psychologically precise observations in human history. When you announce a goal, when you tell people who you're going to become, what you're going to build, how you're going to change, you create a social identity. Other people now see you as that person, the person starting a business, the person getting in shape, the person writing the book. And here is where it goes wrong. The human brain is extraordinarily lazy when it comes to identity. Once the people around you confirm your new self-image, even verbally, even just by nodding, your brain registers a reward. The dopamine fires. The satisfaction that was supposed to come from the achievement arrives early, attached to nothing but words. Psychologist Peter Gollwitzer ran studies on exactly this in the early 2000s. Participants who shared their goals publicly performed consistently worse than those who kept them private. Not slightly worse, meaningfully worse. The announcement had consumed the drive. Marcus knew this instinctively. He didn't write about his plans in the meditations. He wrote about principles. He noted his failures quietly, with no witness. Because he understood that the moment you make your inner world a public performance, it stops being your inner world at all. He called the place of rational thought the inner citadel, a fortress that cannot be breached as long as you choose not to open the gates. And one of the surest ways to open the gates is to hand other people the map. In 165 AD, the Antonine Plague arrived in Rome. It would kill somewhere between 5 and 10 million people over the following years. Marcus Aurelius didn't publicly dramatize his response. He didn't perform grief or strength for the crowds. He organized, he acted, he wrote in private about his own fear. And then he got back to work. This is the discipline of the unseen, the commitment to doing the hard thing with no witness. Modern psychology calls it intrinsic motivation, the drive that comes from the act itself, not from external recognition. It is categorically more durable than extrinsic motivation. People who work for internal reasons persist longer, adapt more effectively, and produce higher quality output than people working for external validation. But here's what most people miss. The discipline of silence isn't just about motivation. It's about protection. When you announce what you're building, you invite opinions. And opinions, even well-meaning ones, create friction. The friend who says, "That's risky." The family member who says, "Are you sure?" Each of these voices doesn't just discourage you, they redirect your thinking. They introduce doubt at the exact moment when clarity is the only thing keeping the work alive. Marcus didn't ask the Senate if the meditations were any good. He didn't workshop his philosophy with advisors. He thought, he tested, he revised, entirely within the walls of his own discipline. The result was a document that has survived nearly 2,000 years. Work that isn't performed for an audience carries a different weight. It carries the weight of being done for its own sake. There is a third dimension to moving in silence that Marcus Aurelius practiced with almost ruthless precision. And it has nothing to do with motivation or mental protection. It has to do with competitive advantage. Marcus was surrounded by men who wanted his throne, political enemies, military rivals, senators with long memories and longer ambitions. He operated in an environment where information was power and vulnerability was fatal. He understood that what you don't reveal cannot be used against you. This isn't paranoia, it's pattern recognition. The person who announces their plans telegraphs their moves. They give opponents time to prepare, time to position, time to undermine. The person who moves in silence arrives at the destination before anyone knew they were traveling. In business, in creative work, in any field with real competition, this truth operates at every level. The startup that quietly perfects its product before launch. The athlete who trains a new technique with no announcement and deploys it in competition. The artist who disappears for 2 years and returns with something nobody expected. Results are the only language that cannot be argued with. Marcus Aurelius understood that the most powerful statement he could make was not what he said, but what he built. Not what he promised, but what he delivered. He wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." The announcement has never built anything. The work has. The world has become a performance. Every goal announced, every process documented, every setback shared in real time is proof of authenticity. And underneath all of it, underneath the likes and the captions and the engagement, most of the actual building has stopped. Marcus Aurelius sat at the top of the most powerful empire in human history, with every incentive to perform his virtue publicly, to stage his wisdom for the millions watching. He chose a private journal instead, not because he was hiding, because he understood that the things worth having are grown in silence, protected in silence, completed in silence, and only then, only after they exist, solid and undeniable, brought into the light. The empire doesn't get announced. It gets built, and then it speaks for itself.